Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're doing a deep dive into, well, a moment in global politics that really feels less like a simple shift and more like a seismic event.
It certainly has that feel.
Yeah, picture this, a highly symbolic gathering in Beijing. You've got the leaders of Russia, China, and India, not just meeting, but really putting on a striking, um, undeniable display of unity.
Hmm.
And to add another layer here, North Korea's Kim Jong-un is reportedly on his way, heading to join this powerful alignment.
Right.
Now, our insights for this deep dive, they're coming from recent CNN reporting, which has really captured the essence of these events as they unfold.
Good source material there.
So our mission is pretty clear. Let's try to unravel the core motivations behind this convergence. Let's decipher the precise messages these nations are sending out. And crucially, let's understand the potential implications, especially for international relations and particularly concerning the United States.
And what's truly fascinating here, I think, isn't just who is meeting. It's the sheer visual side of it, the imagery, the choreography.
How so?
Well, this is far from just a routine diplomatic meet and greet, you know? It feels like a meticulously crafted spectacle. It seems designed explicitly to communicate a powerful, deliberate message about a global landscape that is, well, undeniably shifting.
So the optics are key.
The optics in this context, they aren't just supporting the words. They are a huge part of the message itself. A declaration delivered through handshakes, smiles, shared stages.
That's a powerful point. And those images, they are incredibly striking. We've seen them coming out of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, the SCO Summit in Tianjin.
Yes, the S also.
That's a key Eurasian security and economic forum, right?
Yeah.
And the pictures show Russia's Vladimir Putin, China's Xi Jinping, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, all together.
All smiles.
Shaking hands, laughing even. And at one point, there was that picture of Modi and Putin actually holding hands. It's unmistakable, almost performative, this show of unity.
Performative is a good word for it.
And the reporting suggests the intent is clear. To send a message to Trump and what she calls his, quote, bullying practices. That's a direct quote from the reporting.
Right. An unambiguous signal delivered with those smiles, as you said.
Yeah.
And if we connect this to the sort of the broader geopolitical canvas, this gathering is a very deliberate counter-narrative
A counter-narrative to what?
to the long-standing, often Western-centric alliances that have, traditionally shaped global power dynamics for decades. China, especially, seems to be masterfully leveraging this moment. It's presenting itself to its partners across the region, how? As a reliable, stable, and predictable global power, that's the phrase being used, and doing it precisely at a time of global uncertainty.
So positioning itself as an alternative anchor.
Exactly. This isn't just about making new friends. It's about positioning China as a credible, powerful alternative to traditional Western leadership, an anchor for a different kind of world order.
So what sparked this convergence? It feels like a complex mix, maybe shared grievances, strategic aims, perhaps some opportunism.
I think all of the above.
Let's start with China, the host. President Xi Jinping isn't just, hosting. He's articulating a vision. He's been openly denouncing bullying and double standards internationally.
Mm-hmm. That's been a consistent theme.
And consistently promoting China as a champion for developing countries. There was that quote, "The rules of a few countries should not be imposed upon others." That's a direct challenge, isn't it?
No, it's more than just a challenge. It's a strategically crafted narrative. By questioning the rules of a few, Xi positions China as the voice for the global South. He's aiming to dismantle what they see as the existing Western-centric order and build a new multipolar system, one where China plays a central role, not a peripheral one.
So it's not just talk.
No, it's an invitation to rewrite the global operating manual. It appeals to nations that feel perhaps marginalized by the current power structures.
Right. And then you have Russia's Vladimir Putin. He's echoing many of Xi's points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even as his military continues the nightly bombardments in Ukraine.
The contrast is stark.
It is. And it's crucial to remember his narrative, his attempt to, quote, rewrite history. He keeps insisting the Ukraine crisis was created not as a result of Russia attacking Ukraine, but that it emerged as a result of a coup in Ukraine that was provoked and supported by the West, which is, well, it's a complete inversion of how most of the West sees it.
It is. But from Putin's perspective, that narrative is absolutely crucial.
Why? For domestic support or global?
Both, really. Domestically, framing it as a Western-provoked coup helps justify his actions to his own people. It paints Russia as a defender, not an aggressor. And globally, it seeks to chip away at Western consensus. It resonates with countries already skeptical of Western influence or interventions.
Positioning Russia against perceived Western overreach.
Precisely. It's about creating an alternative reality that serves his political and military goals.
And we even saw that tension manifest physically, didn't we, with the plane carrying Ursula von der Leyen?
Yes, the EU's top official, a staunch defender of Ukraine. Her plane's GPS system was reportedly jammed by Russian tech, forced to land using paper maps.
Incredible.
It's a stark reminder of the ongoing, tangible, and sometimes dangerous digital warfare happening alongside the physical conflict.
So, okay, we see China and Russia aligned, driven by this desire for a new order, rejecting Western dominance. But here's where it gets really interesting. India's presence.
Yes, India complicates the picture significantly.
What pushed India, historically non-aligned, towards this? Especially given its, let's say, recent rocky past with China.
Well, the reporting points to specifics.
Right. Prime Minister Modi came to China, still stinging from 50% tariffs imposed by the Trump administration on Indian goods, feeling, quote, snubbed by Washington.
That's a key factor.
So despite that ongoing Chinese-India dispute that 5 years ago turned very deadly on their border, Modi is now clearly moving to mend fences with China. It's a huge pivot.
It absolutely is.
And to underscore it, Modi also spent an hour talking to Putin. In Putin's limousine, apparently, explicitly demonstrating India has other powerful friends if it can no longer count on U.S.
That visual is powerful, too. Look, this is truly a pivotal moment for India. It shows a pragmatic reassessment of its foreign policy.
Pragmatic meaning?
Meaning they're weighing their options in a changing world, which raises that important question. What does this new global system of governance really mean for these nations? They're aiming to replace what they call an outdated Eurocentric and Euro-Atlantic model. They want one that's truly balanced, considering the interests of the broadest possible range of countries.
And the Trump administration's actions created an opening.
Critically so. By disrupting America's traditional foreign policy positions, the global trade war, cutting back aid, sharp criticism of allies, it provided the exact opening for this.
A vacuum.
A vacuum, exactly. It left key partners like India feeling undervalued. And these nations, China, Russia, they're stepping into that space, offering this vision of multipolarity where no single power dictates terms.
Okay, speaking of stepping into new roles.
Yeah.
And maybe complicating the chessboard even more. Let's bring in the fourth player now, North Korea's Kim Jong-un.
Right. The wild card, perhaps?
Reports say Kim is en route to Beijing, on his bulletproof train no less, fresh off a tour of a new missile factory, which North Korea calls a cornerstone of its military expansion.
The timing is, again, significant.
And maybe most startling. Ukraine is claiming North Korea is on the verge of sending up to 30,000 troops to Eastern Europe to provide Russia with more manpower.
Now that, if true, would be a major development.
A game changer.
Potentially, yes. Kim's arrival, and especially this potential military support for Russia, are profoundly significant. His presence further solidifies a bloc clearly designed to challenge existing power structures. It moves beyond just economic and political realignment into direct security cooperation.
So actual troops on the ground.
If North Korea sends troops or even just more arms to Russia, it's a dangerous escalation on multiple fronts. It expands the forces in the Ukraine conflict, obviously, but it also broadens the scope of this emerging alliance. It shows a willingness for direct military support that could have, frankly, unforeseen ripple effects globally.
It really underscores this isn't just talk, it's tangible shifts in power projection.
It does. Which naturally brings us to the question, how is Washington seeing all this? What are the immediate ripples for U.S. foreign policy?
That's the crucial next step, yeah. So with all this happening, how is Washington reacting? Trump, for one, has been directly criticizing Modi.
Online, I saw.
Yes, lashing out online, calling the U.S.-India relationship a totally one-sided disaster. What's also notable, and potentially emboldening for Putin perhaps, is Trump's prolonged silence on his actions. Very little direct condemnation.
That silence speaks volumes in itself.
It does. And the White House's official view. Pretty stark. One of Trump's top trade aides called Modi's show of unity treasonous, said it's time for Modi to step up.
Treasonous, that's strong language.
Very.
Yeah.
They are essentially blaming Modi, blaming India for this perceived betrayal. But there's also an acknowledgement inside the White House that India is looking for other options if the U.S. is going to stand in the way of growing its economy.
So they recognize the leverage India has.
Seems so. A recognition of India's strategic calculus, maybe.
It really highlights a tension, doesn't it, within the U.S. approach? Because despite Trump's silence on Putin, It's worth remembering the Treasury Secretary did say sanctions were on the table for Putin.
Right, so mixed signals.
Suggests there's still internal debate, maybe a more traditional foreign policy view bubbling under the surface. This fragmented response definitely complicates the U.S. ability to project a unified front. And it raises that important long-term question: how should the U.S. adapt? How do you navigate this rapidly changing global landscape?
What are the options?
Well, Democratic Congressman Adam Smith offered a pretty critical perspective. He stated bluntly that U.S. global dominance has been fading for quite some time, that the rest of the world was going to catch up.
A dose of realism there.
You could say that. He argues forcefully that Trump's America First approach, that unilateral focus, absolutely means America alone.
Because it pushes allies away.
His argument is yes, that it has alienated India, a crucial economic partner, and effectively shoved them into Russia and China's arms.
And Smith got really specific about the why behind some policies, didn't he? Like those India tariffs.
He did. He explained the 50% tariffs on India weren't about some grand economic strategy. He said it was because Modi refused to give Trump credit for ending the India-Pakistan conflict a few months earlier.
So personal grievance driving policy.
That's what Smith claims. Making the policy driven by Trump being personally aggrieved, Smith explicitly called it idiot foreign policy.
Wow. That's incredibly blunt language from a congressman.
It is. Idiot foreign policy, pointing to decisions driven by personal slights, not strategic calculation.
And that analysis really provides a crucial lens here, doesn't it?
I think so. It's a stark reminder that even seemingly short-term political moves driven by personal feelings can have profound, lasting geopolitical consequences. They can reshuffle alliances that took decades to build. The challenge for the U.S. now is navigating a world that is fundamentally less unipolar.
Accepting that reality.
Accepting that other powers will rise and engaging effectively needs a nuanced, consistent diplomatic strategy. Not alienating partners through perceived slights or protectionism that pushes them towards rivals. That kind of idiot foreign policy, as Smith calls it, has real long-term costs that echo across continents.
So let's try to synthesize. What does this all mean for the bigger picture? This convergence of leaders, the explicit talk of a new world order, the frustrated U.S. reactions, it clearly signals a major, accelerating reshaping of global power.
Undeniably.
The message from Beijing isn't subtle anymore. It's being amplified. And we're told Xi Jinping is preparing an even more massive military parade in Beijing.
For the anniversary, right?
The 80th anniversary of Japan's surrender in World War II. And look who's expected to attend. Putin, the Iranian president, and critically, Kim Jong-un.
Wow.
This isn't just history class. It feels like a potent display of solidarity, cementing these emerging alliances, presenting a powerful, united front to the world.
And it's not just political grandstanding or symbols. It underscores fundamental, tangible shifts. Economic partnerships, security partnerships, diplomatic ones. We are witnessing the undeniable emergence of a truly multipolar world. Diverse alliances are forming, challenging the old structures.
Everything's in flux.
Traditional allies, traditional adversaries, they're constantly being redefined. It encourages all of us, you listening, to consider the immense complexity of this evolving global landscape. The old power maps are being redrawn, not lightly, but with bold, indelible strokes. It's a world where economic ties don't automatically mean political alignment, where nations are increasingly looking to balance their interests among multiple powerful players.
That is a lot to absorb, and it paints a very clear, if complex, picture. The messages from Beijing and beyond, they're loud and clear. This deep dive really showed us that a shifting global order isn't just an abstract idea. It's actively taking shape, driven by aspirations for new, maybe more balanced systems, and also direct reactions to existing policies.
Absolutely. And as these alliances solidify, as these new global systems get proposed, we're left to ponder something, aren't we?
Which is?
How might the very definition of international cooperation itself evolve in this new multipolar landscape? And maybe more importantly, what unforeseen impacts might these profound shifts have on global stability, on regional conflicts in the coming decades as nations navigate this new topography of power?
A truly profound thought to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into these complex, fast-evolving international dynamics. We really encourage you to keep exploring these critical shifts and what they might mean for the future. We'll see you next time.